We're here with Rider Development Manager Bobby Julich from Team Saxo Bank. Bobby Julich, what does a Rider Development Manager do?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. It seems like quite a bit. I have quite a few responsibilities. Of course, the number one responsibility is to take care of the riders, but I also can help with the communication in between the riders and the management. That's always very, very important to make sure that everyone's on the same page. A couple things with the sponsors have been popping up here and there, and especially with our new bike sponsor with Specialized, and getting to go to certain events like the opening of the Saxo Bank office up in Prague. So I've definitely been around and busy, but of course I'm home a lot more than these guys are.
You work quite extensively with some of the younger riders as well. What is that, your expertise, what can you help those guys with?
I think it's just experience. I had done this for 16 years as a pro and 25 years in total, so I think I've been through all their peaks and valleys that they encounter during the year. And everything's easy when you're going good, but when you have an injury or when you're sick or when you're not riding well, that's when it takes somebody who has experience to keep you motivated and to give you morale for the future. It's kind of more like do as I say, not as I do, or not as I did. But no, I kind of lived that whole gauntlet of emotions, and just I'm there to help. And sometimes I feel like a psychiatrist to these guys. But I mean, I know that for me was very important to have somebody to talk to that understood what you were talking about.
Can you describe some of the training methods that you have on Team Saxo Bank?
The training, there's just no real secret to training. I mean, you got to get out there, you got to get used to your equipment, you got to get used to certain situations, and again, it's easy to do a time trial or a team time trial when everything's perfect and everything's going great, but you also have to be ready for any problems that may occur, and know that overreacting or panicking in those situations are not going to help you, or the team in that matter. So we do a lot of training, which anyone can train. You just go out and ride your bike. But we do a lot of technique, a lot of working on the echelons, on the pace lines, on the speed, going around turns, going over the tops of climbs, making sure that you don't accelerate too much. A lot of things that I learned little by little over the 16 years of my career, and now hopefully able to pass on to these guys.
There has been extensive work on the new time trial bike from Specialized. Can you elaborate on some of the work that has been going on?
Well, when Bjarne decided to sign with Specialized, he wanted a time trial bike that we designed, and we got a lot of feedback. We gave a lot of feedback to Specialized, and for the first time I saw it in September of last year, and it was basically a drawing on a computer. And from that drawing to where we are now in just 7 or 8 months is pretty amazing. It's a totally different bike. Not to say that the first bike was bad at all, because it wasn't. But Bjarne has a certain way of doing things and wants certain things done the way he likes them. And Specialized was more than willing to listen to us, which was amazing. Coming from such a big company, and changed many of their trademark signatures on the bike, and basically give us exactly what we wanted. And the guys are really, really happy. There's a lot of differences. You can just see by looking at it what they are. Don't want to bore you with all the specific stuff, but it's a fantastic bike, and the guys are really looking forward to racing it.
You've been a professional rider for 16 years, but are now more involved in the more administrative sides of Team Saxo Bank. How has the transition been?
I wouldn't call it administrative. It's not like I'm sitting behind a desk all day long, but it's been actually very, very smooth. I was 100% comfortable with my decision to retire, but I still love the sport, and I still love this team, and I realized that there's nobody better to help these riders out than a guy that's been in the trenches with them for the last 5 or 6 years. So it's been a very, very smooth transition, but I owe Bjarne that a big thanks for that, for kind of creating a perfect job for me, because a lot of riders, when they retire, they're pigeonholed into becoming director sportifs right away, or maybe a mechanic or a soigneur, and I knew that I didn't have the talent to do those sort of things. So we kind of worked around my strengths and focused on that. And I've realized that I can do a lot more than just ride my bike, and I'm enjoying it fully and learning every day something new, and just trying to help the guys as much as I can. And that's what I have to remind myself at the end of the day is, a lot of people, calling me or emailing me and a lot of things coming up, but my first priority is the riders, and sometimes I have to be a little strict with the people that demand my time, letting them know that the riders come first.
Do you still ride your bike?
Yes, I do. Not as much, of course, as I did before, because another one of the reasons why I knew that it was the end for me racing-wise was that I just wanted to spend more time with my two young girls and my family. And, I get a lot of work done when they're off at school, but as soon as they come back from school, then, I'm not really getting that much done besides maybe a BlackBerry message when they're not looking or something. So I honestly don't know where I used to have 3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day to myself, because now I'm lucky if I can get out for 2, 3 hours without being interrupted by 50 BlackBerry messages or phone calls or text messages. So I love biking. I just now that the summer is here and the good weather is here and it's finally sunny and nice and warm, I find it much easier to get on the bike than during the winter when it's snowing and raining.
You are involved in quite a few projects for Team Saxo Bank, like office openings and client and partner events. How does that work out for you?
Well, I've always enjoyed meeting new people and having new experiences, and I think Bjarne knows that I can represent myself and especially the team well, because obviously this is a sponsor-driven sport, and we lost the sponsor back in December, so we are actively looking for a sponsor to take over the place of the one that we lost. So that's just as important as the results that we get out on the road, and sometimes even more so. So Bjarne bought me a suit in December, and I have to put on my tie every once in a while. And it's strange to look at myself in the mirror and see a tie instead of a baseball cap and a training suit. But I've really enjoyed myself. I mean, getting to go to Prague, the Czech Republic, and actually cut the ribbon of the new Saxo Bank branch there was unbelievable, because for Americans, cutting the ribbon or opening a building is a big thing, and that was the first time I've ever done that, and maybe the only time, but that's one of those things I can just kind of check off my list of things to do before I die.
For outsiders, cycling can seem like a sport of muscle and endurance, but can you elaborate on some of the mental aspects of the cycling world as well?
Wow, that's a very, very good question. In my experience, I would say that the mental game, what you think of yourself, your self-confidence, your self-esteem, your self-image, is at least 50% of cycling. Of course, you're born with certain talents, and cyclists, especially at this level, all have a certain talent. But you have to be mentally fresh just as well as physically fresh and physically strong. I went through those periods during my career where, even though I had talent, my mind wasn't in it. I couldn't get it straight. I didn't have all my ducks in a row, so to speak. And that's another part of cycling that people don't realize, is that you're not a machine. I mean, we're human beings, and some of us are more sensitive than others. Some riders, a bomb could go off right next to them, and they wouldn't even look that direction. Others, a little pin drops, and it throws you off your game a little bit. So that's very important, and that's another reason why I enjoy being here, and why I enjoyed so much working with Bjarne throughout my racing days, was that to have someone around that's been there and done that, and has your back, and that is not judging you, where you can be open and candid with, is very, very important. And that's what I think one of our main strengths as a team here at Saxo Bank is.
Thank you.